SAP's S/4HANA is one of the leading ERP systems in the market, but it turns out I hate that system. I'm going to talk about why today. My name is Eric Kimberling. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting, and we're an independent and tech-agnostic consulting firm that helps clients throughout the world reach their digital transformation success. And just to clarify, I am not affiliated with SAP or any of SAP's competitors, but when I first started my career, I started as an SAP consultant. I was taught ERP in SAP, one of the old versions of the product. And over the years, I continued to work with SAP among other ERP systems. And what I've learned over the years is that I actually really dislike S/4HANA. There's a lot of things I don't like about it. Now, to be fair, there's a lot of things I do like about it. It's where I started my career. It's one of the leading systems in the marketplace. It's one of the most robust systems to handle the big, complex needs of big organizations, which most ERP systems can't do. So there's a lot of good things that S/4HANA is doing, but there's a lot of things I don't like and a lot of things that customers don't realize until they've already implemented the solution. So what I want to do today is talk about why I don't like S/4HANA, and more importantly, stay tuned to the end of the video because I'll teach you how to fall in love with S/4HANA all over again. Before I dive too far into the content, though, I'd love to encourage you to download our guide to successful S/4HANA implementations. If you're in the middle of an SAP implementation, you'd like to learn more about how to succeed and how to overcome some of the common challenges we see with our clients, I encourage you to read this guide to S/4HANA. You can find it by scanning the QR code right here or go to the links below. It's no secret here in the 2020s that ERP software is slowly becoming obsolete, just the whole category of ERP systems in general. But then you add to the fact that SAP and S/4HANA in particular is such a big, rigid product that drives standardization for organizations, which is what it's good at, by the way. But it's so rigid that it creates a lot of challenges for organization from a change management perspective and an operational perspective. Most companies that come to Third Stage Consulting, our team and I at Third Stage Consulting, they'll say to us, hey, we want a system like S/4HANA because it's going to allow us to standardize. It's going to bring to us best practices and ways that we can act like one company across the entire enterprise. And this all sounds good in theory, and in theory, S/4HANA can deliver this to you, but it is such a rigid product that it's not good for companies that are very diversified or value flexibility or value any sort of decentralization. So it's important to recognize that you can take this whole concept of standard business processes and core business processes, you can take that too far to the point where it can disrupt your business and create severe organizational change management issues. And again, ERP systems in general are relatively rigid when you compare them to other best-of-breed solutions or AI or microservices or other composable technologies that are out there. But SAP is sort of top of the list of being the most rigid among the rigid ERP systems that are out there. So it's important to be careful and understand what you're getting into as it relates to this rigidity, but that's one of the reasons why I hate S/4HANA. Another reason why I dislike S/4HANA is because SAP is forcing its customers to upgrade to S/4HANA, whether they want to or are ready to or not. Now, the reasoning for this is because SAP can't support ECC and R3, which are the two older SAP products. They can't support these products forever. They at some point have to cut off R&D with those solutions and put all of their R&D money into S/4HANA. But the problem here is that a lot of these organizations that they're forcing to upgrade just implemented ECC 5, 10, 15 years ago. So they haven't been using that software long enough to get a full ROI on the systems, and they're still paying maintenance on the system, yet SAP is still telling them it doesn't matter, they're paying maintenance, they need to upgrade to S/4HANA if they want to continue getting maintenance in the meantime. So there's a deadline of 2030 that they just announced at SAP. And if any legacy customer isn't off their legacy product by 2030, they'll cut off support unless those customers agree to start paying for S/4HANA now, they'll continue to support the older systems. So this whole forced migration concept is something that I don't think works for the industry. And I think SAP will see a lot of long-term backlash. And we're certainly seeing a lot of angry customers come to us asking for help on how to navigate that. But this is one of the other reasons why I dislike S/4HANA. Now, S4 is a very complex solution. It's something that is inherent in the product because the product was built to solve the problems of some of the largest, most complex organizations in the world. So on the surface, the complexity seems like it's appropriate for S/4HANA. But it is such a complex product at times that most organizations just can't consume the product, and they have trouble implementing it, and they have trouble adapting to the software because it's so complex. And you add to the fact that not only is it complex, but there's a lot of capabilities that S/4HANA doesn't yet have that some of the old products, strangely enough, did have. So when you look at some of the outlying functions and capabilities of an ERP system like advanced demand planning or product lifecycle management, some of those different areas, S/4HANA can't do that stuff as well as the old products could in some cases. So what we're seeing with a lot of our clients is they're torn on whether or not they stick with an old system that they know they're going to lose support on, or if they move to a new system that doesn't have all the capabilities they need. There's really no good option for a lot of customers. So the complexity of the product combined with these limitations of the new product is another reason why I dislike S/4HANA. One of the things that I've always liked about SAP throughout my career, 25 years doing this, is that SAP has historically been a single system that was built from the ground up. They didn't have the strategy of going out and just piecing together a bunch of systems and technologies that they bought from other people. They actually built most of these systems from the ground up. But with S/4HANA, on the other hand, they've actually moved to more of a best-of-breed approach. So now when you buy S/4HANA, you're probably not just buying S/4HANA, you're also buying Ariba to help with procurement. You're probably buying SuccessFactors to help with human capital management. You might be buying Concur to help with time and expense reporting. And there's a host of other bolt-ons, third-party bolt-ons that SAP has acquired over the years that they're now selling as a complete integrated solution. The problem is it is not a complete integrated solution. It is a best-of-breed solution that just happens to be owned by SAP. So in other words, you're no worse off if you just buy S/4HANA as your core and go buy third-party systems from other vendors to do all the stuff that S/4HANA can't do, but SAP sells it as though it's one complete solution that can solve all the world's problems. So this is a strategic mistake, in my opinion, because I think this undermines one of the strengths that SAP has always had, which is it had always been one of the few ERP systems that was built from the ground up, fully integrated as a single solution. But now that's simply not the case, and that's another reason why I dislike S/4HANA. I mentioned earlier about how SAP is forcing its customers to upgrade to S/4HANA if they want to continue getting support and maintenance for their legacy products. Essentially, what they're trying to do is lock customers in for the next decade or more by basically forcing them into a rushed decision to just make the upgrade happen now, commit for however long they're going to commit to the solution, knowing that it's going to be really hard to unwind that solution or that decision later on, and that's creating this concept called vendor lock-in. This is so prevalent within SAP that they've created a program called RISE, which is a program for existing SAP customers to move over to S/4HANA, and it gives you a bunch of incentives to do so in a quick fashion. So this vendor lock-in doesn't benefit customers. Forcing a customer to the upgrade and then forcing them to probably stay on the system because it's so hard to get out of it is not something that benefits customers. And I think this is something that's going to have a severe backlash for SAP in years to come. And I think we're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg with the clients that come to us that are angry with SAP and they're dissatisfied with the way they're being treated and forced into a digital transformation that they may not be ready for. Every organization has their own priorities and budgetary restraints, and there shouldn't be an outside third party essentially forcing an organization to upgrade the technology if they want to preserve the support and maintenance that they once had. So this is another reason why I dislike S/4HANA. The good news is that there are some ways to learn to love S/4HANA again. There are ways to make sure that S/4HANA works for you and that you're doing what's right for your business. The first thing you can and should do is do an independent and tech-agnostic assessment of the capabilities of S/4HANA before you commit to upgrading. This is really important to understand. Even if you know you're going to upgrade to S/4HANA, you still want to know where the gaps are. You need to know what you're going to do to plug those gaps. You need to know how you're going to address those risks, and you need to know how that's going to affect your timeline and your overall budget. And by the way, independent third-party providers like Third Stage Consulting can do that for you. This is a service that we provide many of our SAP customers in helping them understand the path forward with S/4HANA. The second thing you can do is ensure that you define an S/4HANA upgrade strategy on your terms, one that makes sense for you. If it just so happens that you can be live on S/4HANA by 2030 in time for SAP's deadline, then great, there's no problem there. But if you can't, if you don't have the resource commitment, if you don't have the budget, and it just doesn't make sense for you to do right now, then wait, do it when it makes sense for your organization, recognizing that the risk of SAP cutting off your support and maintenance for your old system might be a lot less than the operational disruption it could cause if that S/4HANA implementation doesn't go well. And then lastly, the final way I can suggest to you to learn how to love S/4HANA again and make S/4HANA work for you is to read our guide to S/4HANA implementations. You can read that on our website by scanning the QR code right here or go to the links below. But I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about S/4HANA? Do you like the solution? Is it a good solution for your business? If you work in the SAP community, do you enjoy working with the product? What are some of the strengths and weaknesses? Love to hear your feedback in the comments below. Hope you found this information useful and hope you have a great day.